Okay, welcome to Absolutely Raggedy. I am your host, Bobby Lee. This is the one and only time that I'm ever going to do an introduction. Um, but I just feel like it's been such a long time since I've done this, and I'm such a new person now that it is time for me to reintroduce myself. So I am Bobby Lee. I am 37 years old. I am a podcaster, obviously. I'm a writer. I'm a creator all around. I'm really someone who enjoys storytelling as a whole, but also storytelling in all of its forms, right? I am a true artist at heart. I am a lover girl. I'm a child of God, which I should have said first. Um, but that's always first and foremost, and anything that I'm talking about here is really only just testimony to speak about God's glory, and that's real. um this podcast, when I initially started it, I wanted to talk about mental health because at the time I had just found out I've been diagnosed with ADHD, and I was in therapy at the time, and my mental health was just not the best. But I was coming to a place of really wanting to be better and taking the steps to do that. And so at the time,
Now connected to iPhone 3.
at the time, Alexa, mad rude. But anyway, at the time, I just wanted to make a safe space for Black people, Black men, Black women, neurodivergence, Black people, to, have a space to feel, another space, right? To feel comfortable to be yourselves without judgment. I wanted to also tackle our own personal struggles, right? Our struggles, our own personal struggles. Like, I didn't just want to talk about things that other people do. I wanted to tackle the toxic stuff about ourselves. Um, but during that time, I was going through so much. I was going through so much, and I still had so many lessons to learn. And of course, I'm gonna have lessons to learn till I die. But at the time, I thought that I could do life and do this podcast and be, I guess, as open and as vulnerable as I needed to be, and also have a clear message. And at the time, I had a message, I just didn't know how to say what needed to be said. Um, because it just wasn't the time for it, right? And I truly believe that everything happens when it should. So back in the day when I initially started my podcast, I think I said something about me being a late bloomer. I don't even believe in that anymore. I believe that you bloom when you're supposed to, and sometimes God puts you through things and holds you back and holds you in certain spaces for a reason. And I am just at the point now in my life where I'm really understanding the reasons for so many things that have happened in my life, and so many things that I've had to deal with and I've had to go through. Um, but I get it now. So it's like all of those years of like, well, why me? And why do I have to go through this? And why do I look like this? Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel so behind everybody else? Now it all makes sense to me. And so even though I don't have everything figured out, I still feel like I have enough figured out, and I have enough faith and trust in God and now in myself, that whatever needs to be done, whatever needs to be said, whatever I need to receive is going to happen. And then I'm going to be able to translate it the way that I need to translate it, whether that's here through this podcast or through my other forms of art. I got a little bit off track. I was supposed to be introducing myself. But so like I said, podcaster, writer. I am not a published writer yet, but that is something that I'm working on. Actually now very diligently, especially now that I have some more stability. And we'll talk more about my life in a second. But I am also a mentor for a nonprofit organization. where I serve my community by, going into schools and mentoring young Black and brown children. Um, and just teaching them, things that I wish that someone had taught me, or that someone did teach me and I didn't listen because it didn't come from a certain source, or it didn't come in a way that I needed to hear it. Sometimes people just need different perspectives. Um, and I find this work so fulfilling. Like, this is the only job that I've ever had that I have like truly been in love with. I just love, first of all, the kids that I've met have been spectacular. They've been really great kids. They've been really personable. A lot of them know exactly what they want to do. They've already taken steps to do it. I'm just super proud of all of them. Even the ones they were, breaking out of their shell and stuff like that. I'm just super proud of all of them, and I'm happy to be a super small part in their growth and development, and I pray that I make some type of a difference. So that being said, that's me. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, I'll probably just go back and add it in editing. So that's me in a nutshell. My podcast, like I said before, was more about toxic traits and mental health. This time around, I wanted to be more open and less defined, because one of the things I've always struggled with is where I fit in, or what I do, or what I'm good at, where people can say, oh, I'm a really good mathematician, and I'm really good at this, and I'm really good at that. For some reason, I always had a hard time saying what I was good at or defining things. And it's because I'm such a random and versatile person that a lot of times I don't need to define, you know what I mean? I can just let it be what it wants to be. And it took me a long time to come to terms with that, because for some reason I love labels. I don't know. I don't want to hear anything about that being a millennial thing. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what it is. But anyway, anyway, my first episode of Absolutely Raggedy, my very first episode, I was talking about honesty and being honest with yourself, right? A lot of the things that I am going to talk about is going to be personal development, because that's kind of where I am in my life. I've been in this growth phase I've been in this growth phase for forever, but intentionally or knowingly in this growth phase for the past like 5 years, and really just accepting and appreciative of this growth phase currently. I would say within the last year, I've just really settled into being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I know that's kind of a quote unquote cliche phrase, but it's so real, because one of the things about life is that you are, especially if you are someone who is consistently trying to elevate and be better and be innovative and be creative, you are always going to be uncomfortable. It's just the way of life. So once you stop fighting that, it makes things, or it did for me, made things so much easier. You're gonna have to do things that you don't want to do. You're gonna have to do things that give you anxiety. You're gonna have to do things that make you nervous. Oh well. Get over it and get it done. And I wish, and I hate to say this, because like I just said, I know that things happen in their own time, but I do wish that was something that I had figured out and then also accepted much earlier on in life. Because I do think that I figured it out a lot sooner than I accepted it, maybe like years prior to. I don't know, y'all. I'm kind of hard-headed, and I'll be taking my time learning lessons. The old me, the new me is better now, I hope. Anyway, so my initial podcast was about honesty within yourself, right? And recently I just did like a little short reel where I was talking about having confidence in who you are and being self-aware. And I think it's not a coincidence that I made that post, and now I'm recording my first video, my first, episode of Absolutely Raggedy, and the first post was something similar. Because I feel like when you're starting on this journey, or as you're on this journey, and you sometimes need to find your way back to yourself, or back to yourself, back to your center, you have to have a certain level of self-awareness. And because a lot of people are self-aware and they use it as a weapon, right? They use it manipulatively. Because you can be self-aware and do absolutely nothing to make yourself better. So being self-aware is not the end all be all. Being self-aware is just a step along the process. But a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm self-aware, and they'll just stop there. Oh, I know I do this. Okay, well, now you have to change it. And of course, I'm not saying that you have to bend to other people's will, or you have to change things that you don't want to change about yourself. But I'm talking about the things that you want to change. The things that I had to change, they were things that I wanted to change. And there are things that I know that I'm sure other people don't like about me or wish that I would change, that I'm not going to change, because that's just who I am. It's a part of who I am, and it's not going to be something that I ever feel a way about. And I'm not making any changes to myself for other people's benefit, even though the better I get, the more other people who are around me will benefit. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? Anywho, if it looks like I'm looking in a strange place, I'm not necessarily sure where I should be looking these days. I'm a little rusty. Like I said, I haven't done this in a long while, so please forgive me. We'll get it figured out. Thanks. So yeah. Having self-awareness. One of the things that I super love about myself is how reflective I am. People will say things, or have in the past said things about me, and I almost always listen. I almost always listen, even if in the moment I'm not listening, even if in the moment, because sometimes people tell you things at moments that you can't receive it. Like when you're in a heated argument and somebody's like, oh, well, you do this, and it's like, okay, you might be telling the truth, but I'm not hearing nothing you say because we into it right now. And everything you say is bouncing off me. You're just saying that because you're mad, or I'm not trying to hear anything you have to say. And it's not being received in a healthy way. But even in those moments, I've always gone back to myself and said, and I'm saying always, it has not been always, so let me stop saying that. Let me say within the last 5 years, I have more recently started to just be a very reflective person. And if somebody says something about me, I would go back and like really think about it. Like, is this something that I do? Is this something that multiple people have said about me? Is this something that when they said it, I felt in the pit of my stomach, they probably right, even though I don't want to accept it? And if the answer was yes, and if it was something that I obviously did not like, then it was something that I was determined to take steps to change, which is super duper hard. Change is hard, y'all. Like, change and growth is hard, especially when you are coming from a place of trauma and you're trying to be a healthy minded individual. Because we are creatures of habit, right? And because we're creatures of habit, when we're trying to change, or when we're wanting to change, there is this space of time, or this space of I don't even know what to call it, but there's this space between when you want to change and when you have changed, when you have made the change, right? So you could say, okay, I don't want to be, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I used to be somebody that used to lie about stuff. And now this was when I was much younger, but I would say probably like my late teens, early. I mean, not even late teens. I would say my childhood up until like maybe my early 20s. I used to lie about like weird stuff, and I cannot tell you why. I don't know why. But when I started to want to change that, I would still find myself. Somebody would ask me a question about something, and I would lie, and then it would dawn on me after the fact, like, damn, why did I just? And so initially, the thought was just, okay, next time I'm gonna try not to do that. But then what I started to do was I started to actively go back and tell the truth. Like, I don't know why I just said that that's not true. And I would fix it to the point, because one, when you are a liar, keeping up lies is.
Now connected to iPhone 3.
Why she keep doing that? Alexa, shut up. Oh, you mother. Okay, let's try this again. I don't even know what I was saying. Let me try to remember in my head right quick. I remember saying that I used to be a liar. Oh yeah, so like I said, I would have to go back and actively correct my lies. And so my point was that change is not something that's easy, and it's something that often can take a long time. It can take months, it can take years. Up until I was 33 years old, I really felt like I was walking around with my head in the clouds, like walking around with this just muted version of myself where I really couldn't see me. I didn't know me. I didn't know who I was. So it was just like, I was like an inhabitant in this body, but I was not living this life. Um, this was not my experience. I was just kind of here. And after much struggle and much fight and much effort and many tears and many prayers and many adjustments and pivots, I'm finally in a place where I feel like I know who I am. And that's not to say that I know everything about myself. And even knowing that is, to me, growth. Knowing that no matter how well I know myself and no matter how much work I do, there's always room for improvement. There's always things about me that I can't see, that other people might be able to see. Now I'm just more receptive to hearing it from certain people. Some of y'all can keep your opinions to yourselves. So I'm sorry. I feel like, hold on, give me one sec. Anyway, so the whole point of me saying all of this is to say that one of the main things in this life that I think will give, and I talk to my girls about this all the time, and by my girls, I mean the girls that I mentor, is having advantages in life, right? Especially as Black people, especially as Black women. And I'm saying that because I'm a Black woman, so I don't want to hear nobody bounce. But in this life, we already start with so many disadvantages. And I know people don't like to teach that and blah, 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 blah. But the truth is the truth, right? So giving ourselves any little advantage that we can will kind of push us forward, or we should take basically any advantage that we can take, because we start off, with so many disadvantages. And so I think one of the biggest advantages in this life that a lot of people miss out on because it's very hard to do is to really take the time to get to know yourself. And in doing that, again, talking about being honest, talking about honesty, it's not easy because you have to tell the truth about what you're doing and why you're doing it, the good and the bad, not just the stuff that's pretty and, oh, well, I have a good personality and I'm fun, I'm fun, I'm fun. No, the truth, right? Like the truth. And not the, oh, I'm not too nice truth, or I'm too nice truth. You're not too nice. That's not your biggest flaw. That's not your biggest flaw. And when you are getting to know yourself, the deep, dark down that you don't want other people to see, well, first of all, they see it. But second of all, you got to be honest, right? So in saying that, once you know yourself, once you really and truly know yourself, it really is almost like a superpower, because once you know yourself and then you also learn to control your emotions, and learn yourself and learn your triggers and learn to control your emotions, you really have like a superpower, right? You have this like trifecta of is trifecta the right word? I don't know. I don't know if my phone just answered me. It just did like a little zoom in. But anyway, you'll just have this like, because one of the things that I've also learned, or that I am learning, is the more that I know about myself, the less other people and other situations and outside things can control me, right? I am not as easily swayed by what other people say, what other people do, situations that are out of my control that may seem to set me back, or these things. Now that I know myself, and of course now that I have a closer relationship with God, I don't have, people cannot control me the way that they used to be able to control me. And I'm people in situations, right? So situations, I would get into certain situations and I would just not be able to handle it. And because I couldn't handle it the right way, or I couldn't take the time to figure out how to handle it, I would, one, move too fast and make a bad decision, or two, not move at all and make things worse. I was saying that once you get that inner understanding and that inner control, you are really giving yourself your power back, right? And okay, so there's this thing like, you know how like people you don't want to blame yourself for things, right? People never want to take responsibility or accountability for things that they've done wrong, or situations in life. They always want to blame the situation. But it's like when you actually say, no, you know what, this was not, I didn't get fired because my boss is an asshole. I got fired because I was not taking the job seriously, because I hated that job. Because I was coming into work late. Because I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I did not lose my relationship because that man ain't shit. I did not, you know what I'm saying? I did not lose my friendship because everybody's just against me and my friend is hating on me and is jealous. No, I'm always talking shit about people. I'm always coming with a negative attitude. I'm always coming with, that's the truth. And once you can accept that truth, those truths about yourself, the ugly truths, not just the nice shit, because obviously everybody wants to be the nice shit. Everybody wants to be the cool stuff. Everybody wants to be the fun stuff, the smart stuff. But the liar, nobody wants to be the liar. Nobody wants to be the bullshitter. Nobody wants to be the gossiper. But if nobody nobody are these things, then how does everybody know these people? And it can't be everybody else. One of them got to be you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, a lot of the times, all of the time, it's multiple things that are you. So it's like you got to accept that that is what you are, that is who you are, but it doesn't have to be who you stay, right? You can be somebody else. You can be somebody better. And I don't mean completely changing your personality. I've always said that. But just being a better version of yourself, right? And I know that's kind of, again, that's like a hot button phrase or a cliche phrase now, but it's the truth. Being the best you that you can be, right? And that doesn't mean that you'll be perfect. That doesn't mean you won't make mistakes, but that it does mean that there'll be things that you won't allow yourself to do because you'll be above those things. And I know we like to act like there are things and situations that we're not above, and I'm not too good for anything. There are absolutely things that I am too good for. And if there are people that feel like they're not too good for those things, that's on them. That don't have nothing to do with me. Nothing at all. I'm too good for those things. And I'm standing on that. I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be sat down or stepped back by somebody going, "Oh, you think you're too good?" I absolutely do. And you should too. And if you don't, that's on you. We two different people. I'm not here to judge. But I won't be put in situations or made to be a certain type of way because other people don't have standards for themselves or other people don't want to put forth the effort to be better. Me, I've worked very hard to be better. I've worked very hard to be a better person, and I still am. So anyway, once you start saying these things are my faults, because that's where I started, right? Once you start saying that these things are my fault, you realize how much of your life you're actually in control of. And it's like, of course, there are always going to be things that happen that you can't control and you did not foresee coming. But you are in control of so much more than you really think. You are in control of how you handle situations. You are in control of how you go into situations. You are in control of your attitude. You are always in control of your attitude. And always responsible, right? Even when you are and there are situations, of course, where there are exceptions, but I don't ever want to get it confused. When I'm making generalized statements, I know that there are exceptions, but I don't speak in exceptions. When I'm talking generally. I'm talking about the rule. The rule is that there are things that you can control, things that you cannot control, but you are in control of your own actions at all times, right? But there's power in that. It's a powerful thing to know that you can really shape your life because you're in control of it. And that's not to say that everything you do you're gonna love. That's not to say that every job you have you're gonna love, but you are in control of how you go to work, right? So if you go to work every day complaining about how much you hate work, you're going to feel that in your body. You're gonna feel it in your body. That just is what it is. You are gonna feel heavy every time you go to work. You just, I just gotta work. I don't want to do it. You're gonna feel it. It's gonna feel heavy. Or you can find a reason until you find a new job, right? Until you find a new job, try to find a reason. You can find a reason to, or a way to enjoy going to work, or at least a way to give yourself some peace about it, right? At least this job is helping me pay my bills, because I could not have a job at all. So many people would love to have a job. And I know that that's like, other people not having a job has nothing to do with me. But again, you could have nothing. You could be without a job, not able to pay your bills at all, not able to feed yourself, not able to put a roof over your head and buy clothes. I've been there before. So it's like, Even, and I have been the person who, I can't stand going to work. Everything feels so heavy. The days are dragging. Everything feels so long, except for the weekends. Every time I go into work, I get a headache. I hate this place. I hate it here. But instead of starting to look for a job that is not in the same field, I wait until I'm so tired that I quit. And now I've got to start over and find another job. You get what I'm saying? So it's like there's always ways that you can control situations that you weren't in control of creating, right? And in doing that, you give yourself an advantage. You give yourself your power back. I'm gonna cut all that so y'all ain't gonna see what just happened. But I was just kind of froze for like 37,000 seconds. Anyway, yeah, so you give yourself your power back once you start to say, you know what? This is why this is my fault. And this is why this is my fault. Because I'll give you guys an example. I was watching this video the other day, and the video, it was a reel and it was like a joke. But it was just an ironic joke to me because, okay, in the video, it was a man and he was like, it was like POV, when your girl has to have the last word. And so he would say something and she would say something like smart mouth and funny back. And I'm not funny right now. You know, sometimes I'll be funny, but I'm not funny right now. So I can't think of like, you know, an example to give you guys. But if I can find the reel, maybe I'll find a way to share it. I'll share it in my Instagram stories or something. But he would say something and she would say something back, and he would say something and she would say something back. And the POV is when your girl has to get the last word, but it's like, nah, when both of y'all have to get the last word, because really, if you just stopped talking, she wouldn't have anything to respond to. But because you don't want to stop talking, now you guys are doing this back and forth thing. But in your mind is when your girl won't stop talking or wants to get the last word. And to me, it was just kind of like a funny, again, this was like a funny video. It wasn't anything serious. But to me, it was just funny is because people are actually like that. This is how you guys are. This is how we all have been. I've been like this too. Where it's like, oh, it's the other person or it's the situation. But it's like, if you just shut up, you shut up. You don't have to have the last word. And then guess what? This person is either going to keep talking to them goddamn selves, because now I'm over it. I'm not talking anymore. Or they're going to shut up. And really, even though it looks like you lost, you've controlled the situation. And that's my whole point. You can control situations. You can control relationships. And I don't mean like that, but I'll give you another example. I just saw a video, and some people disagree with this because people be looking too far into stuff, and instead of seeing the bigger picture, people just be wanting to be a certain type of way. So anyway, it was a video of it was like a woman and her man, and the guy was washing dishes, and the woman walked in and she was like, she didn't say anything to him, but you know, the words on the screen was like, I've told him several times to put the dry dishes away before he starts washing the dishes. And so she was about to get an attitude, but then she thought about it and she was like, you know what, instead of saying it again, I'll just go over there and help him, and I'll just put the dry dishes away. So she did that. She helps him. She put the dry dishes away. They kiss, blah, 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 blah. So then the next time he just remembered, oh yeah, let me put these dry dishes away before, she has to ask me, let me put the dry dishes away before I start washing dishes. So don't get too caught up on the whole analogy. People were getting so caught up. Well, if you just shut up, y'all, just shut the hell up. The point is, if you want a healthy relationship, sometimes you have to do stuff that you don't think you should have to do. And your partner is also going to have to do that. Why? Because nobody is perfect. But anyway, we'll have that conversation in another episode. My point is, being able to control a situation and get the outcome that you want does not always look like, well, I'm finna yell at a motherfucker till they do what I want them to do. Or I'm finna bulldoze this situation. I'm finna go crazy on my boss until I get my way. sometimes you have to finesse a situation. And sometimes when you know, one, what your own personal power is, because you know what yourself, you know yourself, right? You got that, not just self-awareness, but you've done the inner work, right? So you know who you are, you know your bad, you know you're good, you know when is a good time for you to be talking to somebody, when is a good time. You know what, my mind is not right now, so if I have this conversation right now, things are gonna go left because I'm gonna say something I shouldn't say. So let me cool down, right? You know yourself well enough for that. And so you can control a lot when you know yourself like that. Gosh darn it. Everybody please hold. Everybody please hold. Hold on. My bad, my computer was about to die. But anyway, so hold on. Let me look at my handy dandy notebook. So, like I was saying, sorry, my battery was gonna die. I'm just saying that you are in control of a lot more than you think. And the way that you can control things, and I'm not saying be a control freak, but the way that you can control things and finesse situations, and oftentimes get what you want, is not always straightforward. It's not always making someone, it's not always forcing a situation. Sometimes it's walking away. Sometimes it's you being quiet first. Sometimes it's you apologizing when you're not wrong. Sometimes it's you accepting something that maybe, and I'm not talking about, because anytime people say certain things, y'all want to go to the extreme. I'm not talking about accepting people disrespecting your boundaries, your hard boundaries, but nobody is perfect. And there are going to be things that no matter what, and I'm not just talking about romantic relationships either, in any situation, there are going to be things about people that annoy you. Some of it is on you though. Some of it is just, you're going to be annoyed, and that is what it is. Some of it is just people are going to do things that you, a different way than you do them, and that just is what it is. Because just like you have to make concessions for people, other people have to make concessions for you too. So I want you to remember that. And we'll talk more about that in another episode, but I really just wanted to start off the new season of Absolutely Raggedy with just talking about you taking your own power back, or not even me saying you taking your own power back, but how I took my power back, was just accepting really the truth, really digging deep within myself, accepting the actual truth about things. No, and I was one of those people that said I'm too nice. I was not too nice. I was a people pleaser. I was a pushover. I was trying to get validation outside of myself. That's what I was trying to do. And that's why I was overextending myself and overcommitting and allowing people to take advantage of me. That's what I was doing. I was not too fucking nice. And neither are you. So let's tell the truth to ourselves. And I am so appreciative of you guys coming and spending this time with me, and I really hope that you got something from it. And I am rusty, so I will, not I hope I will get better at this. And again, I hope that I see you guys coming back around and kicking it with me and giving me some of your tips and telling me a little bit, sharing your journeys with me, because this is all about me sharing my journey with you guys. And this will be, like I said, me sharing my health and wellness journey. So I'm going to talk a lot about my fitness and about my weight loss. And if you don't know, and I'm only going into this because it is a very important part of my story. And I should have said it in my introduction. I should have said it in the beginning, but a couple years ago, I think I started in 2022. I started working out and getting healthy, and I lost 120 pounds. So a lot of what I talk about in this series, or in this, on my channel really, will be about health and fitness. It'll be about weight loss. It'll be about my journey and becoming a personal trainer and a nutritionist, because these are things that I'm taking steps towards. So stick around with me. I have a lot coming up, and I want to share it all it most with you guys. I love you much. God bless, and thank you for coming to Absolutely Raggedy's first episode in damn near what, like 3 years? Bye.